What happens when a division symbol transforms into a catalyst for unity? Barron Trump, a young man searching for identity amidst the weight of his surname, finds himself in an unexpected situation that could change everything. While having lunch at an exclusive restaurant in Los Angeles, he chooses to wear his MAGA hat, an accessory that, for him, represents a form of expression rather than an act of provocation. However, this choice triggers a series of events that quickly spiral out of control. Barron, a young man who has always sought to live away from the spotlight, never imagined that his decision to wear the hat would generate such a commotion. As he savored his meal, the restaurant manager approached him with a look of discomfort and asked him to remove the hat or leave the premises. Barron, feeling a mix of surprise and indignation, opted to leave in silence, determined to avoid an unnecessary confrontation. But what seemed like just a quiet lunch quickly gained immense proportions on social media, dividing public opinion and sparking a heated debate about freedom of expression and empathy. The restaurant, now in the center of attention, faced fierce criticism and boycotts, while Barron, in his solitude, reflected on the incident. He wondered how he could turn this situation into something positive. The answer came in an unexpected way. Inspired by the need for dialogue and understanding, he decided to organize a charity event in front of the restaurant. His intention was simple yet powerful: to create a space where people could debate and connect, regardless of their differences. Barron then faced the challenge of mobilizing his community and bringing together people with diverse opinions. He began to receive support from friends and allies who shared his vision of unity. However, internal dilemmas did not disappear easily. Barron found himself struggling against his own insecurities and doubts about his ability to influence significant change. As the event approached, he realized that even amidst chaos, it was possible to build bridges instead of walls. Barron's journey transformed into a reflection on the values that connect people and the importance of listening to and respecting others' opinions. In his quest for a more united world, he learned that sometimes the best opportunities for growth and personal transformation arise from adversity. Barron Trump felt the weight of the surname he carried, but on that day, he decided he would not let it define him. Wearing his MAGA hat, he entered the restaurant in Los Angeles, believing he was simply expressing his opinion. However, when approached by the manager, the situation quickly spiraled into a nightmare. The request for him to remove the hat or leave made Barron feel like a stranger in his own country, and indignation grew within him. As he left the restaurant, he had no idea that his decision to avoid confronting the manager would result in a storm on social media. The following hours were tumultuous. The incident quickly gained notoriety, and polarized comments flooded digital platforms. For Barron, who had always sought privacy, the sudden attention was overwhelming. He spent the night awake, navigating posts that ranged from fervent support to cruel criticism. This experience forced him to confront the reality of his surname and the image society had of him. He felt trapped in a cycle of expectations, where every move was scrutinized and interpreted. Determined to turn negativity into something constructive, Barron decided to organize a charity event. The idea was simple: to create a space where people could come together, discuss and listen to one another. However, the task proved to be anything but easy. The first difficulty arose when trying to find a venue that would accept the event. Many establishments refused to cooperate, fearing negative backlash after the tumult at the restaurant. Barron felt frustration mounting, but he couldn't give up now. He needed to do something. With the help of a few friends, Barron began reaching out to local organizations, seeking support and partnerships. Among them was Sarah, an activist known for her work in promoting diversity. Sarah was passionate about fostering dialogue, but also carried her own frustrations. She had faced many challenges in trying to unite people with differing beliefs and opinions. As they joined forces, Barron and Sarah realized that their motivations complemented each other, but the challenges were evident. While working together, Barron felt unsure about his ability to lead. He often questioned whether he could truly make a difference. The fear of failure weighed heavily on him, especially when some people began to criticize the event idea, claiming it was merely an attempt at self-promotion. These words cut deep, making him wonder if he was just following a path destined for failure. Despite the difficulties, the event began to take shape. Social media, which had initially been a battleground, started to transform into a platform of support. Barron saw messages from people willing to join him, regardless of their political opinions. The idea of unity began to take form, and he started to believe that he could truly create a space where differences could be discussed. As the day of the event approached, new obstacles emerged. A group of protesters opposing what Barron represented planned to gather at the same location. This news alarmed Barron and Sarah. The fear that the event could turn into a physical confrontation was palpable. Barron found himself in a dilemma. Should he cancel the event as a precaution or move forward, risking a chaotic situation? The tension grew, and a wave of insecurity overwhelmed him. The night before the event, Barron had a troubling dream. He found himself in the midst of a crowd, surrounded by voices mocking him. The feeling of inadequacy haunted him, and he woke up in a cold sweat. But looking in the mirror, he decided that he could not give in to fear. He needed to confront his inner demons and prove to himself that he was capable of creating something positive. On the day of the event, the atmosphere was charged. Barron and Sarah arrived early to prepare the space. People came, some with smiles, others with expressions of distrust. The tension was palpable, but Barron took a deep breath and remembered why he was there. He stepped onto the makeshift stage and began to speak. His words were sincere, and he talked about the importance of listening to and respecting others' opinions. What had started as a symbol of division was now becoming a catalyst for unity. The event was a success. Although there were some dissenting voices, many came together in constructive dialogue. Barron realized that even in the face of challenges, he had managed to create a space for empathy. Friendships began to form amidst differences, and despite the difficulties, the community started to unite. Barron learned that even in times of crisis, there was always the possibility for transformation and growth. He had faced his fears and become a voice for those seeking connection in a divided world. Barron Trump was about to experience a pivotal moment in his life. The charity event he had organized, with Sarah's help, was about to take place, and anxiety consumed him. As he prepared, he reflected on everything he had faced in recent days. The pressure of fame, the criticism on social media, and the uncertainty of being accepted by those who did not share his political views left him restless. He knew he was not just fighting for a cause, but also for his own identity. When Barron arrived at the event venue, the atmosphere was charged with energy. People gathered, some eager to listen, others skeptical, and he felt his heart race. He recalled the dream he had the night before, where he was surrounded by mocking voices. Those memories haunted him, but he was determined not to let fear take over. With a deep sigh, he prepared to step onto the stage. The first part of the event was marked by a series of speeches. Barron attentively observed the audience's reactions. Some people listened intently, while others exchanged wary glances. When it was his turn to speak, he felt the pressure mounting. What could he say that would truly make a difference? He remembered his original intention to promote open and respectful dialogue. With that in mind, he took the microphone and began to speak. Barron expressed his hopes for the event, emphasizing the importance of listening to others, regardless of differences. He spoke about his own journey, the weight of the surname he carried, and how it shaped his experiences. His words flowed with sincerity, and Barron realized he was opening up in a way he had never done before. He saw some people start to nod, signaling their support, and that gave him courage. However, The mood began to shift when a group of protesters appeared outside. Barron felt a knot in his stomach upon seeing the flags and signs. A rising murmur spread among the event participants. The tension escalated, and for a moment, he thought about giving up. But the sight of Sarah, encouraging him to continue, made him reconsider. He could not let fear paralyze him. In an act of courage, Barron decided to open the space for dialogue with the protesters. He asked everyone to gather in a circle, both supporters and opponents. What followed was surprising. Although there were initial shouts and confrontations, gradually the voices began to quiet. Barron had the opportunity to hear the concerns and frustrations of the protesters. They expressed their fears about polarization and the lack of dialogue in difficult times. And as he listened, Barron realized that, although opinions were different, everyone shared a common desire to be heard and respected. From that moment on, the atmosphere of the event began to change. Barron realized that he was experiencing a transformation not only within himself, but also around him. People began to open up, sharing personal stories that reflected their struggles and hopes. He saw tears in some eyes, and it touched his heart deeply. It was an experience that made him reconsider his own choices and what truly mattered. By the end of the event, Barron felt a wave of emotion. He had faced his fears and opened himself to new perspectives. The event not only fostered dialogue, but also taught him a valuable lesson: the importance of empathy and active listening. He realized that while divisions were real, human connection was what truly mattered. Barron left the event venue with a new understanding of his role in society and the responsibility that came with his surname. He realized that, despite the difficulties, he could be a voice for change and unity. What began as a moment of crisis transformed into an opportunity for personal growth and hope. And looking toward the future, Barron was determined to continue this journey, not just for himself, but for all those who desired a more united and understanding world. Barron Trump found himself at a crucial moment in his life. The charity event he had organized with Sarah's help was about to take place, and anxiety consumed him. As he prepared, he reflected on the challenges he had faced in recent days. The pressure of fame, the criticism on social media, and the uncertainty about his acceptance by those who didn't share his views left him restless. He knew he was not just fighting for a cause, but also searching for his own identity. Upon arriving at the event venue, Barron felt the energy in the air. Many people gathered, some eager to listen, others skeptical. His heart raced as he recalled a dream he had the night before, in which he was ridiculed. Those memories haunted him, but he was determined not to let fear take over. With a deep sigh, he prepared to step onto the stage. The initial speeches were met with mixed reactions. Barron observed the faces in the audience, noticing some were attentive while others were doubtful. When it was his turn to speak, the pressure intensified. What could he say that would truly make a difference? However, he remembered his intention: to promote an open and respectful dialogue. He took the microphone and shared his hopes, emphasizing the importance of listening to others, regardless of differences. His words came out sincerely, and he saw some nodding in support, a sign that gave him courage. However, the atmosphere began to shift with the arrival of protesters outside. Barron felt a knot in his stomach as he saw the flags and signs. The growing murmur among the participants made him anxious. For a moment, he thought about giving up, but the sight of Sarah encouraging him to continue made him reconsider. He could not let fear paralyze him. Determined to face the situation, Barron proposed a dialogue with the protesters. He asked everyone to form a circle, supporters and opponents alike. What followed was surprising. Although tensions were high initially, voices began to calm. Barron listened to the protesters' concerns as they expressed their fears about polarization and the lack of dialogue. He realized that despite differing opinions, everyone wanted to be heard and respected. The atmosphere of the event changed. People began to share personal stories, reflecting on their struggles and hopes. Barron felt a wave of emotion. By confronting his fears and opening himself to new perspectives, he learned about empathy and active listening. He understood that although divisions were real, human connection was what truly mattered. As he left the venue, Barron felt transformed. He had faced his internal and external challenges and emerged stronger. He learned that success goes beyond fame and the surname he carried. It lies in the ability to unite people and promote understanding. The lessons he absorbed led him to make more conscious decisions and apply what he had learned in his life. Barron was determined to continue his journey, not just for himself, but for all who sought a more united and understanding world. Tension rose as Barron looked at the mixed crowd. Protesters shouted words of dissent, while his supporters tried to remain calm. The young man felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He knew that this moment was crucial, a turning point in his journey. With his heart in his throat, he decided he could not back down. As he approached the edge of the stage, he remembered Sarah's face, who had always believed in him. It was time to show that he was not just the son of a former president, but someone who could make a difference. Barron took a deep breath and, with his voice trembling, asked everyone to calm down and listen to each other. He knew that the only way to resolve the situation was through dialogue. With the microphone in hand, he began to speak. "We are here for different reasons, but we all wish to be heard. We all have dreams and fears. Let's share that, not fight." His voice resonated, and to his surprise, some people began to stop shouting. Barron addressed the protesters, acknowledging their concerns and showing empathy. He spoke about his own struggles with acceptance and the fear of the unknown. The vulnerability in his words touched some of those present. The atmosphere began to change. People started to open up, sharing their stories. Barron saw tears in the eyes of some participants, and that encouraged him. He understood that this was true success, connecting with others regardless of their opinions. By the end of the event, it no longer mattered who was right or wrong. What mattered was that everyone was together, closer than before. Barron had found his inner strength, and with it, a new purpose. Barron felt that he had transformed. The young man who once carried the weight of being just the son of a former president now saw himself as a true leader. He had learned that true success was not about being heard by everyone, but about listening to others and connecting with them from the heart. The stories shared that afternoon changed his understanding of life and what truly mattered: empathy, understanding, and unity. As he looked at the crowd, he saw faces that were once in conflict, now smiling and exchanging hugs. He realized that true change begins with a simple act of courage, the courage to speak and to listen. Barron not only overcame his insecurities, but also inspired others to do the same. He knew that from that day forward, his life would never be the same, and that filled him with hope. And so, Barron's story became an example of overcoming challenges and friendship. He invited everyone to reflect on their own journeys and share their experiences. Let's work together to build a world where everyone feels heard and respected. If you also believe that we can make a difference, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your voice matters, and together we can inspire change.